Hi there. This is Mr. Kieffer again, of course. I'd like to show you how to actually draw what are we going to call this? The step. Looks something like that, the step. And so you will want to be referring to those dimensions. Just walk you through how to do this again. We'll jump on Tinkercad and put in our password and all that good stuff. Hopefully I remember mine now. And so, yeah, this is getting more and more interesting. I've learned a few things, and every time you work on it, it gets a little bit easier, I would say. So we're going to go. Let's see. Oh, okay, I'm assuming it is working. Yes, it is. Actually, it's going faster than it was earlier today, so that's a good thing. And so, like I said, you always want to have a plan with how you're going to do what you're making. And so let's go to create a new design. I've learned how to use the grid a little bit better, and I'm going to show you how to do that, hopefully, and hopefully it'll go well. We'll see. It's always a challenge. You never know how it's going to go, but we'll take it one step at a time. And hopefully by the time we get done, it'll look like it's supposed to, right? All right, so I'm going to choose the box. And you can click on that and put it down just somewhere on the grid. Doesn't really matter where. And we are going to go for a height. Oh, I made a mistake already. Let's go back. I need to set the grid for, sometimes I just get so excited about doing this stuff. I skip a few steps, and when you do that, you end up getting yourself in trouble, but oh well. All right, so now we are going to set the height. Being a little strange here. There we go. That looks better. We'll set that height at 2.5 and then hit enter. Okay, and now we're going to click right here and we'll get the length of this should be, or I guess you can look at this as the depth is 2.5 on that one as well. And then let's go with tab. And the other dimension is actually 4. Enter there. So depending upon how you're looking at it, this is a big piece that we're making. I am going to use my arrow keys and kind of get it more in the center. Yeah, that is a big old piece. Okay, so first of all, I would like to show you the additive approach. So that means what you're going to do is try to add something to your object. And so what I want to do is add that step, if you will, a little ledge that sticks out onto this side. So I'm going to use a work plane, and I'm going to choose right here. And so, yep, and then we're just going to add that step right onto this work plane. But before we do that, what I'd like to do is to make sure I want to get to, yeah, I want to use, there we go. What I want to do is hone right in there. And if we look very closely, we'll see that this is not aligned with the grid perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide that until it aligns up perfectly with the grid. And so it did it right there. You can tell if you look very closely that it is lined up with the grid. So that is good. That's where we want to start, because if we're not lined up, then the other things I want to do, they don't work very well. So this is kind of in the way. So let me go ahead and pull this on over. And in this case, we are just going to add right onto it. So we're not cutting away, we're adding onto it. And the first thing we want to do is get how far that's going to stick out. And what does it say in the dimensions? It says 0.75. So we're going to put in 0.75 and hit enter. That's how far it's going to stick out. And then let's go ahead and get those other two dimensions. We'll click on this and it'll give us the height up and down. So that would be up and down. Ooh, it's pretty narrow. It's only 0.25. And we'll hit tab and we'll go with a length back and forth of 1.5 and then hit enter. Okay, so now this is good, but what we want to do here is you can see it's not in the right place. See, it's not in the right place. So how are we going to get it in the right place? Well, what I've discovered is one of the easiest ways to do that is just click on front, in this case, because it's on the front, and make it a little bit bigger. And then let me just click. I don't know if I have to click on the object. Yep, I have to click on the object and then hit the arrow keys. And so if you hit the arrow keys, remember we have the first object lined up on the grid where it needs to be. And then you can move the object around grid by grid by grid. So we know that it has to be a ½ inch from, let's see, that's one. Yep, it has to be a ½ inch from the bottom. So that would mean we're going to have 4 because each one is an eighth. So we have 8. Whoop, let's go. Start there. We got eighth, quarter, 3/8, and then 4/8, which is a ½ inch. And the same on the sides. You want a ½ inch. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And so now it is actually in the right position. So what we're going to do is just kind of take a look at it. Does it look good? Is it fitting? Does it look like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing? Sure does appear to be. So then what we want to do is just make a box around it. We've done this before. And we are going to connect the shapes, group the shapes. And there it is. And it is also nice just to get rid of that work plane that gets in the way. And then we can see, okay, hey, we're making good progress. We do notice that it's gone below that work plane, but we'll take care of that later. Don't worry about that. So now what we're going to do is put another work plane on this side. And we are going to get that left view. And this is in the orthographic view. So if it's in the perspective view, put it in orthographic so it'll be straight on. Again, see how this is just slightly off. It's slightly off. And so we can't use the grid until the original object is in the right spot. So left click on that, hold, and slide it into the right spot. Right there is perfect. And now when we look at it, yes, it lines up perfectly. So we'll zoom back out. And now what we need to do is now we will need to use the shapes that actually cut. So we'll use a cylinder. And we'll slide it over here. We can put it right in that corner. And what I'm going to do is kind of turn it just a little bit to get perspective. We want it to go a depth of a negative because it has to go the opposite direction of the plane. So it needs to be a negative number. So we're going to put in negative, I think it was 2.5. What does that look like? Let's hit enter. Yes, so it's a negative 2.5 inches in that direction. And the other two sides, they need to be 1 and 1. So it actually gave me the right size to begin with. So that was kind of handy, kind of cheating. But it's working out good. And then now the other thing I think would be something that would be good to show you is that there is a way, if you click on the object, to make a copy of it. So you click on that, and then you click over here. You're supposed to be able to make another object of it. Let's try it again. Oh, you just pull it off of that one and slide it over here. So I just made another. I better show that again. That was too easy. So you choose what you want to duplicate. Go up here and click duplicate or copy. And then you click and slide it over. Now you could put it over here. And then you can use the arrows. Slide it into the corner. So now we've got that done. We've got those two that we'll be cutting off. Eventually we'll be removing that, but we still need this other one on the bottom. So let's go ahead and make that shape. We'll put it, we can put it right on top, it won't hurt. And again, that needs to go a depth of a negative 2.5 and hit enter. And so that's going all the way through. And then we also want to click right here. So we want a height of 0.5 and then tab. And the length of this actually needs to be 3 and hit enter. So it is, it's sticking right on out now. So that's good though, because we got where we want it. Now we'll click on it and then we'll use the arrows to move it where we want it to be. So we know it's got to be all the way on the bottom. So it's all the way down on the bottom. And it needs to be about a 1/2 inch over. Now let me zoom in so you can see a little better what's going on there. So if it's a 1/2 inch, you want to have 4 blocks. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1/8, a 1/4, 3/8, and a 1/2. Okay, so that should do it. Let's zoom back out. I'm just using my wheel on my mouse to do that. If you don't have a mouse, I don't know how you do it on the pad. I'd go buy a mouse myself. So what we want to do is make that box around here. And then we'll join those pieces together. Group them together. And voila, we have that. It turned out pretty nice, it looks like. So what we're going to do, though, we want to get rid of this work plane. It's kind of irritating. We'll get rid of that, and we'll be able to take a look at this. That looks good. The only problem is that it's kind of below the water a little bit. It has shrunk below the water. And so I think is what I'm going to do is, let's see if I can get a little bit of a tilt on there. Let's use this ruler like that. Click on the object. Now what we're going to look for is a negative number. Somewhere in here, there will be a negative number. And it looks like this one right here. It's kind of tucked around here, but let's click on that and put 0 in there and get it back on top of the table. Now that should do it for me. We can get rid of the ruler just by bringing that over here and then hitting escape. And now, so that should be on top of the table, and it is. We can turn it around and make it look like it does in the picture that I've given you, and that should do it. The other thing is we should save this. We'll save it as step. And the other thing, what color should we make it? Let's go ahead and click on the object, go to shape, color, and I don't know, we make purple for the Vikings. Maybe that'll help them next year. I doubt it. All right, so we've got that. So now it's just a matter of saving it. So you click on this Tinkercad dashboard, just click on that, and it will automatically save it. And I believe that should do it. I'm just going to double check and wait till it actually is saved. And I really like using the grid as a way to move the pieces into the right places. That really seems to work better for me and hopefully for you as well. Now, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to help you out. But I will have to say, using Tinkercad and trying to do these things, it is a little bit of a matter of just, keep fighting until you get it, keep working at it till you get it. So that's all I have. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.